Now we're going to spend some time talking about dispensing. So the Clinical Nutrition Center patient chart has a full-featured dispensing system designed to track not only medications dispensed from the office, but other obesity medications that require frequent call-ins. So anything related to obesity is going to end up in dispensing. There's a lot of ways to get into the dispensing, and it generates a lot of records for us. So let's take a quick look at what that's all about. Just click on Dispensing, and the way the dispensing works is it's divided into two tables. A medication orders table, and this is designed to track orders for medication. So if the doctor writes a prescription, then that's going to show up here as an order. The doctor can write a prescription two ways. One would be to add it right here. Another way would be to add it directly from the doctor's note. Orders for prescriptions must be from the doctor, must be signed in as a medical provider, and they must have a digital signature. They will not be accepted. So it is not possible for front office staff or even office management to add a medication order, since only a person licensed to prescribe can add an order. This table shows a lot of different medications, shows the original number that was ordered and how many have been dispensed. So if there was an order for 3 fills of this medication and 1 has been dispensed, then there will be 2 left. Here there's an order for 2 total, 1 dispensed, 1 left. The system tracks when the order was written and calculates an order expiration. It makes that 12 months from the date of the order for a non-controlled substance, or 6 months from the date that it was written for a controlled substance. Tracks how many were written for, what the SIG is on the prescription, whether we're dispensing it in the office, and whether an extra week has been authorized per the Clinical Nutrition Center protocols. Now inside of each of these orders, you track the dispensing for that order. So if we mouse over, it can show you really quickly what has been dispensed, by whom and when. So on each of these, if you mouse over dispense, it shows you what's been dispensed. And if it's blank, then that means it can no longer be dispensed. So for example, the Qsimia prescription is blank because although 3 refills were ordered, it was written not to be dispensed in the office, so we can't dispense it. So anything here that says dispenses means we can dispense it. Now if it can't be dispensed, in red you should quickly be able to see why. Either all the refills were used, or it's expired, or it's been replaced by a different order, or what have you. So for the front office in general, when you come to dispensing, you'll see your current orders, and then you'll just click dispense on the medications the patient would like to fill. So let's say the patient's up front and they are wanting their attenuate refill and they have refills remaining. You'll just go to the attenuate refill and click on dispense. This takes you to the dispensing just for that attenuate. You can see the order up top. So it takes the order and puts it up top and then puts all the dispensing for you on the bottom. So we can go back to the orders, or we can add a dispensing. So I'm going to go ahead and add a dispensing. So let's say I'm going to dispense. So we've got today's date. We've got that we're dispensing. We can say the person that's dispensing. Let's put that it's me. And this is where you need your digital signature. Even if you're just a general login for the front office, you can't do a general dispensing. You have to select your name and enter your digital signature. So I'll go ahead and sign it, or it won't let me dispense. Now, per Clinical Nutrition Center protocols, I have pre-designated that we can substitute a lower dose, or in some cases an alternate medication, as part of my ordering system. Those protocols are all written in the Clinical Nutrition Center practice manual, and so my order includes, for example, for attenuate 75, that we can substitute down to attenuate 25. Those substitutions are all hardwired into the Clinical Nutrition Center patient chart, and if it's not there, it hasn't been approved. So if you leave that blank, then you're dispensing the attenuate 75. occasionally we will substitute a 25 for the 75. The SIG is what I wrote on the dispense. It takes that directly over. And the quantity is what I wrote for the quantity. We track the batches of our medications. On the current system, we're using a sticker. And so if we continue to use that system here, we could either put the sticky that we used on the written log, or in the future we may actually put the actual batch number. Prescription label leave blank and comments leave blank for now, because we'll come back to that, and we'll click add. So now we've just logged that we are doing attenuate 75 for this patient, that we're dispensing it in the office. The header record was updated, that now it sees that there were 2 dispensings, and there's 1 dispensing refill. It's still good until April 9th of 2013. Now when you added that record, it also generated a label for you. And if you're at a computer with a label printer, instead of typing or manually doing the label, you can go back and edit that record, and you'll see the label right here. It has an interpreter, so if it sees PO, that substitutes by mouth. If it sees QD, substitutes per day. And the medical providers have access to that interpreter, and we can add other codes as we see fit. Once you're at the computer with your labeler, you can just click in this box and hit print, and it will generate a label for you, and you can just select the label printer and the proper size for your label. Let's just go back. When this medication was dispensed, it does go ahead and make a journal entry in a dispensing log, and we'll use that journal entry so we can count and make sure there's no discrepancy. And at month end, it'll do a drug count for us with the simple to print report. We'll talk about reporting and management features in another video. Now also with dispensing, the Clinical Nutrition Center patient chart gives you a quick look at dispensing in the chart header at all times for all staff, so that we know if a patient's prescription is getting low or expired or out. And so when you look down here, show order on header means that it's going to show up here. We also have the ability to cancel an order. Let's say a patient's blood pressure is too high, I want to cancel their order. I can go ahead and cancel it. But assuming that the order says show on header, it's going to go ahead and show up here. So here it tells you that metformin was ordered, there's 1 refill left, and it's good until November of next year. It tells you how many days till it expires. Here's the order for attenuate we were working with. There's 1 refill left, expiring in April of 2013, which is under 12 days from now. And here we saw there was a Qsimia prescription that was called in. This says it was written on 10/9/2013 and that there were a total of 3 refills that were called in, and that those will be expiring on April 9th or 112 days from now. So it gives us a quick overview of the patient's total medications, and in a glance we can make sure we don't accidentally have them run out, and we can remind them when they're in the office. Now if there's anything in yellow, that means it needs to be addressed right now. So if there's just 1 refill or 0 refills left, it needs to be addressed now. Now also let me show you what happens when we dispense the last refill. So let's say we dispense the attenuate again. Here it warns you that it's the last refill. So if it sees you're on the last refill, it automatically gives you a warning. And when we add the refill this time, you'll see now refills remaining is 0. You see that up here as well. However, on this attenuate prescription, I did order an extra week and it hasn't been used yet. So suppose the patient does not get in time, they do have an order for 7 more attenuate. And if you go to dispense it again and click add, now it says to do an emergency refill only. So it warns you right there, it tracks that for you. So we're going to change the amount that we give the patient to 7. and add that. And when we do that, now it's going to tick off, and it's going to show that that extra week was used. You can see there's no refills remaining. On the attenuate here, it's been fully dispensed. And the extra week has been used. Once the extra week has been used, it's important to note that the number of refills will go to -1 and turn red. When that happens, if you try and add more refills, it will not let you. So first here it gives you a warning. All refills used, do not dispensed. Let's say I try to do that anyways. I can't, because the order's been canceled once it sees that all of the pills that were written for have been used. So you can no longer get an order into the dispensing into the system on that order. And you can see the attenuate no longer shows up because the order is now canceled. So I think that's it for the front office and for the dietitians. However, medical providers, stay tuned in here, and we're going to take a quick look at how we can quickly issue dispensing orders from within the MD note without ever going through the dispensing table. So this allows us to prescribe medications without leaving our note. So let's take a quick look at that. So suppose we're working with this patient and we're adding a new note. And so we're back here in the doctor's notes, and we're writing up our note, and we see this patient's on metformin and Qsymia. So it takes that from the last note. And as we're writing our note, we can come over here to the medication tab. And the top medications are for obesity-related medications. So this is a pre-populated list of different drugs that we might be using for weight loss, or multivitamin or potassium or that sort of thing. So for example, we might want to update this patient's metformin prescription. Maybe we give them 6 refills. And maybe we want to update their Qsymia prescription. And as we go down through this, we can specify why we're treating that patient. These are some of the different reasons we might treat. We can select up to 3 indications, or we can write in an indication. And then in medication instructions, we can put anything that we did regarding these medications. Now remember, other medications is just to deal with non-obesity related medications. And we talked about that in a previous video. So just to see what that does, let's digitally sign the note and add this. So remember when we did Qsymia and metformin. So up here you can see the Qsymia prescription, the old one got replaced by the new one, and it indicates that there were 3 refills written on November 18th. And the old metformin prescription got replaced with the new one, indicates there are 6 refills expiring in a year. So if we want to add an order manually, we can just go back into medication orders, click add, select the medication, and most of this will already be populated. Number ordered is the total number of fills ordered. So if you want 3-month supply, we don't write this like on a prescription pad where we'd say 28 and 2 refills. What we're saying is we want 3 refills total. And then each time we dispense it, that'll get ticked off by 1. And we need to digitally sign that. And we've just entered an order for phentermine.